Am I the butthole for laughing and pointing out the true meaning of my friend's Asian character tattoo? He is very upset. My friend Jason, white and doesn't know Japanese, just got a new tattoo. He's been looking forward to his first ever ink for a while, and did a lot of research on the price, style, and local artists. He kept the design a surprise from everyone because he didn't want any negative input before he got it on his body, permanently. I mean, maybe that was a huge misstep? Just saying. Fast forward to a few days ago, he went in for the session and told me that I'd love it. I'm Asian and fluent in Japanese. I thought maybe he was going to get a tattoo of a manga character or something. He sent me a picture of his tattoo when he was done and captioned it with the question, "Do you know what it means?" I honestly thought it was a joke at first and replied, "Haha, you got me, that's a good one." He called me right away and asked me in a panicked voice what I had meant. I told him the characters meant free, as in a free food sample. He started to cry on the phone and said it's already been a effing hard year and I just made it even worse for him. He thought it meant freedom. He hung up the phone and hasn't answered my texts or phone calls since. Well, freedom isn't even remotely close to what he got. And what's up with these stupid tattoos anyway? Just why? Can someone explain to me, please? Thank you. So am I the butthole in this situation? Edit. The tattoo is above his right ass cheek. So the message is really funny. It's kind of a fail, so he'll probably have to do a Pete Davidson and get rid of it. Edit 1. Jason decided to keep the tattoo for now. He thanked me for pointing it out and agreed that it was indeed hilarious. NTA. It's the #1 rule of getting a language you don't speak tattooed on your body that you get a native speaker to check IT. It's his own fault for not researching it properly. And yet enough people fail Rule 1 that a blog to mock them has been around for over a decade now. http://hansesmatter.blogspot.com, web link. There's one on there that says toilet demon. I can't stop laughing. LOL. As someone with lactose intolerance, that might very well be the ideal tattoo for me. Perfect placement on one's ass. I mean, free sample on one's own ass is a different kind of awesome, but it's up there. Who doesn't want to be a Care Bear? This part of the original post made me laugh a lot. Celiac disease has joined the chat. IBS here, what's up? Crohn's disease has joined that chat. Anxiety craps has joined the chat. Diverticulitis dropping in. It's the ideal tattoo for anyone who eats Haribo sugar-free gummy bears as well. These need not only a warning label, but a hazmat symbol temporary tattoo you can apply to your ass after eating them. I think everyone in my household needs to be branded with this too. I'm really loving the one that was supposed to say God's love, but apparently actually says madman. The one that says string and twine or gigolo or pimp laughing out loud. I want one that says toilet snake, to ensure that I'm always vigilant when I go to pee. Oh, I know someone that can use that. Link? Oh, were they going for badass? And in that decade, Google Translate has become good enough that it too can tell you that means free. How do you plan on getting a tattoo and not simply Google it? Also has an implied implicit meaning of empty, no substance. It is ironically accurate for ops friend. Updated, has a double entendre meaning as devoid of. The kanji means no, empty, means materials, substance. Together, it means it doesn't need a thing or no substance, which is pretty much free as in free of charge. If you know kanji and you will understand the double entendre. Just like if I say someone is an empty vase, most people will understand the metaphor. You are not going to say, a person isn't a vase. You are not making sense. Web link. Maybe it has that implied meaning in Chinese? Certainly not in Japanese. That just gave me a really good idea for a tattoo. So that when people ask what it means, I can answer Google it. Warning, my Japanese foo isn't that strong. I'd probably right. But yeah. Is probably what was intended. Pro tip, don't get something in a language you don't understand. NTA. Chinese speaker here. Wouldn't need to add the unless this freedom is being used in a possessive way. That is probably how he got it. Google Translate doesn't work for Japanese. Works just fine for freedom, noun freedom, liberty freedom. Freedom, liberty, independence freedom, liberty, independence. I also tried free and the friend's tattoo didn't make an appearance. I had to type gratis to get Google to give me the tattoo. Then I tried freedom in a few other languages. It'd take a lot of dedication to getting the wrong tattoo in this case. Man, some of those long-form characters. My eyes just aren't good enough to count the number of strokes and to be able to look it up. Definitely more than 5, lol. When life is made lemon drink. There was a post just now looking for a translation of his tattoo meaning Paulo. A bunch of people were discussing how it seems to be horrible garbage font that they can't translate properly. Well, until someone noticed that apparently it was just English letters with special lines that make it look Chinese. If you look at it closely, it's literally the word Paulo with crazy lines. Funny thing is that so many Chinese people are misinterpreting the words too because they only know simplified laughing out loud. Shoot, I researched the hell out of the Chinese characters before I got my tattoo. It was literally my Chinese name written by my grandfather, who named us, but I wasn't taking any chances. I love this. Yes. You can't be too careful, lol. I have 3 symbolic tattoos. My star sign, yeah, a Celtic knot and a bind rune. I designed all of them myself and extensively researched each individual component to make sure they were accurate and would flow together to have the meaning that I intended. I spent 3 days learning how to create bind runes to make sure I was doing it correctly and to double check that my designs were coming out the same as existing runes. The knot means strength to protect, and is the knots for strength and protection intertwined, while the bind rune is frelsi, meaning freedom in Icelandic. The irony is not lost on me, and no, it's not on my A, it's on my foot so that specifically it's freedom to travel. Yes, I want a refund for this year. I have my star sign and rising sign with Celtic knots. Got it when I was like 21 and was super into paganism. It's funny now and I don't regret it at all. It's a reminder of the dork I was then. Lol. I got the knot at 18. Bind rune, star sign and another tattoo, Loki is a rubber duck, designed by a mate, at 19, and then my latest one, red kite, designed by the tattoo artist, was done at 20. I've had color added to the Loki duck twice. I love them all, and the only regret that I have is the knot placement. I wanted it on my shoulder, but the artist persuaded me to put it at the bottom of my neck, so I'll never see it in person and regularly forget it's there. My nan is Welsh and we visit that side regularly, pre-COVID, so the knot and the kite are nods to that heritage, while the runes are just me trying to appreciate Icelandic culture. I would love to spend some time living out there one day. I got to ask. What if Grandpa had trolled you with a different translation? Would you have still tattooed the name he gave you, be too mad/embarrassed/upset to do it, or more than happy to explain it as a funny reason you didn't get the tat? Lol. This never occurred to me. If it had been something equivalent from my other grandfather, I could totally see him trolling me. In that case, I would have gotten whatever he was trolling me with, barring it not being too awful, because it would become a reminder of him and his sense of humor, and I'd be more than happy to explain the funny reason I have a tattoo that's inappropriate. Honestly though, researching was more to do with changes in writing from classical Chinese to simplified Chinese, and how it was adopted, or not adopted, in different regions and what changes might been made. And then as I researched, I found it really fascinating, so I kept at it, looking at different examples of handwriting. Thanks for answering. And isn't it cool how speech and writing in languages kind of tells its own story about how people lived at the time? Sounds like your grandpa was really cool, and I'm glad you have an awesome tat to remember him by. Cheers. Get a native speaker that you trust to check it and then still double check and do your research. Not the butthole. It's not like he told you what it was supposed to say first and you just assumed it was a joke. A native speaker who has a normal sense of humor and won't think it'd be great to have you get something permanently on yourself, which would be embarrassing. Is freedom on the ass really that much less embarrassing? Yeah, I would also be embarrassed getting a tattoo in a language I don't speak. That's really tacky. Nope. I'd lean into the horror and complete the tattoo so it is free sample. This is definitely the correct approach. That would be hilarious. Ha ha ha, this is an excellent point. The original intent was awful as well. I'm really irritated that this dude blamed original post for pointing out the error that the dude himself made, as if pointing it out made it happen. However, upon reflection, that's exactly the sort of nonsense an idiot who tattoos a character on their body permanently without checking it first would commit. NTA. I don't understand hiding it from a native speaker. Like, why didn't Op's friend at least give a few words that he wanted and ask original post to translate them? And why didn't the friend heed the undoubted warning from the artist? I have plenty of tattoos, half sleeve, shoulder, upper back, and down my calf, and every single one I asked the tattoo artist to use their artistic license. I'm not an artist. I have no idea how to draw. Even my stick figures suck. So I came in with ideas and a plan and let them draw what I put into words. My tattoos are awesome, one of a kind, and I have hundreds of hours of work done. But I also know that if I come with some text, I have a not-so-known quote by a famous author on my arm, that I have to check the work before it's permanently added to my body. If it's wrong, it's my fault. One thing every single one of the artists that I'm sporting their work said is to never, ever get a foreign language on my body. They said almost every time the artist doesn't know the language and is only going on what Google says. They also warned me if I go to another country where the native speaker does the tattoo that it's often lost in translation from my English to their language. Finding a bilingual tattoo artist is extremely hard to come by. My guess is the tattoo artist who did the work warned Op's friend a couple of times they didn't know what the word meant and they weren't responsible if the word was wrong. Everyone that I've been to has the same disclaimer when it comes to foreign languages. His friend is an idiot for getting something that he was even 99% sure was correct. NTA, Op. And I'm willing to bet money your friend was warned against getting a foreign language tattooed on him. He was an idiot for not double-checking with you. Also, tattoos outside your language are often a bad move in general. Honestly, it's pretty tacky to get a tattoo in a language you don't have some cultural connection to. I kind of get weebs getting tattoos in Japanese, but like, I've seen enough badly done Arabic tattoos on white girls for one lifetime. I was born in Japan because my dad was in the Navy. I have long wanted to get a tattoo that says Made in Japan in Japanese. Ooh, maybe it could look like a stamp. I have Made in Canada. I've seen it on a couple other people. My favorite isn't mine, it was Made in Canada on the back of her neck under a barcode. The barcode translated to her birthday. She checked it against MS Word font, then printed it off and scanned it at the retail store she worked at to confirm it. After it was done, she scanned it again to make sure it worked. So I vote go get it done, add birthday, flag, or other meaningful item to go with it. If your conception date happened to be memorable enough that your parents knew it, you could use that and troll your parents like one friend. Dad works out of town a lot, only sexy time close to conception was Valentine's Day. My oldest was an Easter family trip, I know this because of the dry spells before and after the trip. Youngest, no idea. True story. I got a tattoo written in Spanish that I thought said Little Dove, an old nickname. Turns out that it actually translates to Pigeon Child. Op, NTA. I mean, Pigeon Child at least sounds like it could potentially have a story behind it. Lol. I saw a customer at work once with a kanji tattoo and she told me one day that it meant nature, like Mother Earth nature. I never told her it wasn't right because she never asked, but the nature she had chosen is what's seen on signs for bathrooms and actually means something more alike to gender or sex. Don't get foreign language tattoos if you don't understand the language and can't be bothered to get it checked first. Ong? NTA. Yep. My family is Greek. I remember when my cousin ran a tattoo by our uncle that she had run through Google Translate. He laughed heartily and wrote down the actual verbiage for her. Tell this to my sister, I don't know what she was told. But she has picnic table in Japanese as a tramp stamp. For eating ass? Sorry, I'll see myself out. I spent a lot of time and effort making sure that my Chinese tattoo means what it is supposed to mean. Had it proofread by a handful of close friends who are fluent? I still got it wrong. Luckily mine was just off by a single stroke that I was able to add during a touch-up session. Haven't gotten any other tattoos in a different language since then. Lol. Op is NTA, though. Tell your friends to own it and just be like, hell yeah, free samples. Who wants some? My artist requires 2 different persons to confirm the Asian characters. This, and in the grand scheme of things it's not that bad. I think most people would find it funny. NTA. Nah. He asked and you answered. Of course he's upset, but that's not your fault. He can fix it. He can get one right next to it with a Japanese character for dumb. Then it will say freedom and he will be all set. I'd have to tell him this one later. Much later. Just add 3 more on the left and a mere 7 on the right for freedom isn't free. That's when it stops being a tramp stamp and becomes a tramp shipping label. Who does it get returned to? His mom. No, there's a hefty effing fee. NTA. Did a lot of research. That he did not. Literally plugged freedom into Google Translate and came back with what original post said is correct. He did not. I just typed in free and it came back with the same as with freedom. I just checked and this is true. The characters for freedom and free have the same characters in Google Translate. Google Translate still isn't up to par with most Asian languages, or anything that isn't a Romance language, really, so it's not really reliable. Source: longtime Japanese student. As a translator that speaks German, English, French, Italian, Spanish, Dutch, Latin and Hindi, I can tell you, Google isn't up to par on Romance languages either. It's very pitiful and not at all reliable. We actually tested it in translator school. Lol. The best translation machine at the moment for Romance languages and English and German is Deep. That is it. You can use Google as a reference for general meaning, but even then there are massive flaws. I wouldn't trust a tattoo in Italian that Google translates for me. Yeah, but if you add something like popsicle, free popsicle, it will show the other characters. Yeah, because context matters a lot. Google Translate isn't great, but if you do very basic cross-referencing it's not a bad starting point, but come on lol. Ops friend did lots of research? Probably got drunk and threw on some Nirvana while he simultaneously scrolled Insta while soul-searching, and that's how he landed here lol. Of course this is speculation, but it's funny to imagine if he effed up this bad lol. Right? Me too. Maybe he ran it through the translator multiple times that it spat out garbage. Maybe he did too much research and that's why it was wrong. The man knew too much. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube. And share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.